Welcome to Community Conversations. I'm Frederick County Executive Jan Gardner. Today, my guest is Kitty Devilbis, who's the Community Services Manager at the Department of Aging, and we're going to talk about the Meals on Wheels programs. Welcome, Kitty.
Hi, how are you today?
Good. Thank you for joining us. I thought Meals on Wheels would be a topic of interest for people in our community. Can you start out by giving us a sense of how many people the Meals on Wheels program serves?
We currently serve about 150 people a day. We have 19 different delivery routes each day where volunteers are taking meals to homebound seniors, and we have a few adults under 60 who also receive our services due to their health condition or disability.
So you don't need to be a senior citizen to qualify for Meals on Wheels?
You do not, and that's makes one of the unique factors of our program, because we are seeing more people under the age of 60 who have some very significant health needs, and the Meals on Wheels program can support them through their health journey.
It's a great program, and I know we depend on volunteers to deliver the meals. And I had the opportunity a few weeks ago to go out and do a route along with the volunteers who regularly do that. And, you know, I'm very impressed by how committed the volunteers are to their clients, how well they know them, and that they provide a lot more than just the food. You know, they provide some social interaction and can really touch base with those clients on a deeper level. So, do you need volunteers?
We always need volunteers, not only to support the existing routes and the existing program, but as our program grows, we attempt to serve more portions of Frederick County. We are always seeking volunteers. It's a terrific commitment. Some of our volunteers commit on a weekly basis. They become very close to their clients that we serve. Others prefer a more flexible schedule, and we always need substitutes to give our regular volunteers a break. We do let them off once in a while.
Yes.
But you're absolutely right about them providing that socialization. For many of our homebound clients, that volunteer is the only real live person they see and talk to each day.
Okay. So if somebody wants to volunteer and would like to be trained, I assume there's a little bit of a training process in order to deliver meals. How can they contact you?
They can contact the Department of Aging. We have a volunteer coordinator coming to us from Volunteer Maryland. She's an AmeriCorps volunteer, and she offers a monthly training program. An orientation, if you will, and if you can't make the group session, which is always the 9th of the month at 9, she can do a one-on-one with you. She can be contacted at 301-600-6008, and she'll respond very quickly.
So can you talk about the growing demand for Meals on Wheels and where we're expanding our routes?
Meals on Wheels is growing, and there is a greater demand for the service, primarily as we see shorter stays in hospital and nursing facilities. It really is an effort to keep people in their homes. Community-based and home-based services are a growing trend in the healthcare industry, and so Meals on Wheels provides the nutrition aspect of that. And we get many of our referrals from discharge planners, but we also hear from family members, from pastors, from anyone who has close contact with an older adult and wants to help them get connected with those meals.
So where have we recently added routes?
We're pleased to have added routes in Middletown, and we started out with just one route, and within probably less than 3 weeks we had to divide that route into two. So the services there have grown very rapidly. We expect to open a route in Lewistown community, the Mountaindale area, within the next 2 weeks.
Okay.
And from there we'll be going to serve people in the Newmarket and Mount Airy communities as well.
Okay. So if somebody wants to receive meals, is there an eligibility requirement? Are there criteria they have to meet?
There is criteria. Eligibility is generally individuals who are homebound. That means they're not able to get out and about on their own without some assistance. They generally have no full-time caregivers in the home, and that could be a volunteer or a paid caregiver, but they're generally alone for most of the day. We want to make sure that they're safe, though, and that they can eat safely while they're alone. And we're also checking for screening for nutritional risk and food insecurity, because we're seeing a growing trend where individuals simply don't have access to good foods, and they don't have the ability to prepare them.
Okay. Now, I know as part of our program, when somebody signs up for Meals on Wheels, that part of that process is they are visited by a nurse who serves the program. Can you speak a little bit about the role of the nurse in the program?
Yes, Frederick County's Meals on Wheels program is fairly unique to Meals on Wheels programs across the U.S. in that we do have that nurse on our staff. He's doing a home visit. He's doing screenings for environmental issues, home issues, nutrition screenings. He's doing some general health evaluation. He's a great resource for the family and for the client as they interact with their primary care providers. He doesn't do nursing, direct skilled nursing with those clients, but his medical eyes have just been terrific in helping avoid some serious health issues. He's now very knowledgeable and has a long history of geriatric nursing, so he's able to help kind of steer things in the right direction before they go bad.
Well, I know we know he's a really nice person as well, very caring person, and I'm sure he provides a lot of comfort to the clients too, to know that someone's checking in on them and can give them some, skilled advice, knowledgeable advice about something they may have questions about.
Yes, he's very good at interpreting in layman terms, and we hear that often from our seniors in our Meals on Wheels program as well as in our senior center programs. He's a great resource in that he can make it easy to understand what's happening.
Okay. We know that, like most of the country, but even more so here in Frederick County, that our over 65 age population is going to grow. And in fact, the age group over age 85 is going to grow really rapidly.
Absolutely.
And so what are the implications of that for Meals on Wheels, and what do we need to do to plan so that we can make sure that no senior goes without nutrition?
Absolutely. Well, we do expect to see more seniors aging in place. That's a term that's frequently used. And as we talk with our older adults, we know that being at home is the place they want to be.
Right.
And often just delivering those meals is enough support to make that very successful. And as the population grows, we certainly are going to see more inquiries for Meals on Wheels. Last month, we had a record number of inquiries at 46 applications.
Wow.
And that's just huge. It's much more than we've ever seen before.
Now, how many of those people can we actually add for a route? Is there demand that we're not meeting?
We are in the process of finishing up those applications. There are a few who probably Meals on Wheels probably isn't the best fit for them.
Okay.
But in general, we're able to get those folks on a route either immediately or very soon. We've actually kind of broken our own rule in that we used to limit the number of clients to a route, and that was originally designed to make sure the volunteers could deliver within a very short time period. We're adding more people to our routes, and our volunteers are very willingly taking on those extra minutes that they're donating and those extra miles that they're donating, so that we don't have people waiting.
Well, that shows the commitment of the volunteers that are
Absolutely.
engaged
They are
in that
just
process.
terrific.
And we do know that we're going to have to continue to add more
Absolutely.
volunteers. So again, please call the Department of Aging if you're interested in being involved on Meals on Wheels. I do think it's a very rewarding program for both the senior and for the people who are the drivers and delivering the meals. And I will say, when I had my brief experience on my route, that I did have a woman say to me that she actually felt her health had improved because she was now getting the nutrition she needed. And I think that's important. One other question that I hear from time to time is, are Meals on Wheels customized to the client if they have a certain dietary restriction?
We are able to accommodate many of those dietary restrictions. We work with the primary care health provider, but the kitchens that we're using to prepare our meals are able to meet most of those diet restrictions. So we're very fortunate in that aspect as well. Again, that's somewhat unique to our program compared to some of the other programs around the country.
Okay.
So we do provide diabetic diets. We can provide modified textured diets if an
somebody
individual
needs soft food,
needs
for
soft
instance.
foods, yes. And we can meet some specific sodium and calorie requirements if need be.
Okay, well, that's fabulous.
Yeah, it is terrific.
It is fabulous.
It's a great option.
So anything else you'd like to share with our viewers before we conclude?
Well, as you said, we always need volunteers. We're also very fortunate, our program is very fortunate to have a nonprofit supporting our program. And Friends of Meals on Wheels does a lot to raise funds and awareness for Meals on Wheels. And they've been very generous in making sure that we are able to feed older adults in this county.
Yes, and I would thank you for bringing that up. I do appreciate their financial support and their fundraising capability. And of course, that increases awareness about the program as well and allows more people in Frederick County to be involved. So thank you for joining me today.
Well, thank you.
Thank you for joining us for this edition of Community Conversations. I hope you learned something about the Meals on Wheels program. If you're interested in serving as a volunteer or you know someone who would benefit from receiving a meal, please feel comfortable to call our Department of Aging to either help out or to have a senior you know be added to the delivery route. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you again for a future edition of Community Conversations.